Situationer, Mr. Can we have the first slide to give a brief update on our COVID-19 response and situationer? Can we have the first slide? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so that we can follow you thoroughly.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Salamat po. You can start now, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you. As of August 2, may nadagdag na higit 5,000 kaso at sa nadagdag na 5,032 cases po, meron 2,114 fresh cases at 2,918 late cases. Sa 2,114 fresh cases na naitala, 916 ay mula sa NCR, 279 sa Region 7, 901 sa mga natitirang rehiyon at 18 na repatriates. Sa 2,918 late cases naman, meron po tayong 1,821 ay mula sa NCR, 186 sa Region 7, 892 sa mga natitirang rehiyon at 19 na repatriates. May naitalang 20 binawian ng buhay at nakapagtala naman tayo ng 301 recoveries, 301 recoveries. Ang total recoveries ay pumalo na po tayo sa 65,557. Ang active cases naman ay 35,569. Sa mga ito po ay 2,911 or 8.18% ay mga asymptomatic. 32,071 or 90.17% mga mild cases po, Mr. President. 349 or 0.98 ay severe at 240 or 0.67% ay critical. Next slide please. Ito pong graph na ito nagpapakita na prioridad po ng inyo pong administrasyon ang proteksyon ng ating mga health workers. Pababa po ang trend ng confirmed COVID-19 cases sa ating mga health workers mula sa 20% noong April, ngayon po ay nasa 5.3% total cases. Patuloy po natin paiigtingin ang infection prevention and control sa ating mga pasilidad upang masigurong patuloy pa itong bababa. Makakaasa po ang ating mga health workers na ating pong binabantayan ang kanilang health and safety sa pamamagitan po ng pagbibigay na sapat na mga personal protective equipment na dekalidad at tunay po na mga very high quality and effective. Ngayon po, ang slide po natin na susunod, next slide, nais ko rin pong magbigay ng updates sa kung paano natin patuloy na tinutugunan ang issues ng ating mga healthcare worker. Sigurado po ako, Mr. President, na lahat po tayo sa kwartong ito ay sasang-ayon na sila po ang pinaka-importanteng mga tao sa laban natin kontra COVID-19. Kahapon po, Mr. President, matapos ang press con ng healthcare workers kung saan sila ay humingi ng time out na imposition at imposition ng ECQ or Enhanced Community Quarantine, ay agad na nakipagdialogo ako kasama ng ibang IATF principals sa mga medical societies. Dito mismo natin napakinggan ang issues nila. Dito rin naklaro na handa naman silang humanap ng middle ground, ibalanse ang kabuhayan at kalusugan. Bigyan ko lang po kayo ng summary ng kanilang mga hinaing. Number 1, una, kakulangan daw sa ating mga health workforce dahil na rin sa pagka-quarantine, isolate. Yung iba naman po ay nagkakasakit at meron din pong mga nag-resign. Number 2, over-reliance po na tinatawag nila sa mga antibody test na nakakamiss ng 50% of the cases. Kaya nahihirapan maghanap ng mga bagong kaso. In-erase rin nila ang concern sa hirap mag-refer sa mga isolation centers. Number 3, meron din daw pong kakulangan sa ating contact tracing at mga quarantine facilities, lalo na sa pag-cascade ng mga guidelines sa local level. Pangapat po, ang transportation issues ay nangangailangan ng immediate response at kailangan maglaan ng safe transportation options. Particular na dito ang agarang pagpapatupad ng bike lanes. Panglima po, para ma-ensure na ligtas ang workplaces, kailangan ng DOH, DTI, and DOLE na mag-issue ng clear advisories sa mga kumpanya para masunod ang ating mga minimum health standards. Kanila pong in-emphasize na ang publiko ang unang linya ng depensa laban sa COVID-19, kaya naman kailangan i-remind ang lahat na gumamit ng mask at mag-practice ng physical distancing. Panghuli po, mariin din po nilang tinututulan ang pagbukas ng mga non-essential industries gaya ng gyms, review centers, pet grooming, service at iba pa. Next slide please. Matapos natin po makipag-usap, nagpulong naman po ang kabinete, batay po sa inyong kautusan, si Ginoong ES po ay pinulong ang mga ilang miyembro ng kabinete at lumikha po kami ng 7-point response or recommendation to address the issues of the healthcare workers. Number 1, una po ang pag-hire ng additional healthcare workers at bumuo ng healthcare worker reserve. Pati na rin ang pag-enter into memorandum of agreements with private hospitals hanggang December 2020 para makapag-deploy tayo ng healthcare workers sa mga private facilities na kung saan po sila po ang mas mabilis na mapuno ang kanila pong mga COVID beds. Pangalawa po, na pag-usapan din po natin ang pagbibigay ng additional benefits para sa atin mga healthcare workers. Una, meron po kami rekomendasyon na magbigay po ng 10,000 risk allowance for private sector healthcare workers at libreng life insurance na sana po ay maisabatas sa Bayanihan Act 2. Kasama na rin po ang pagbibigay ng libreng accommodation at transportation na siya naman po itong inumpisahan ng gawin ng Department of Health para po sa mga panggagawang pangkalusugan. At ang pagsagawa ng libre at frequent na pag-testing sa atin pong mga healthcare workers, kasama na rin po ito sa atin expanded testing strategy. Pangatlo po, ang paggamit ng work and quarantine passes para po ma-minimize ang paglalabas ng mga tao. Pang-apat po, ang pagpapaigting sa ating mga localized lockdown strategy at ng implementasyon ng Oplan Kalinga sa tulong ng LGUs at COVID-19 code teams. Yung pong code teams, ito po yung coordinated operations to defeat the epidemic, which is COVID-19. Panglima po, i-intensify ang strict enforcement ng ating guidelines on minimum health standards at ang pagbibigay ng 20 milyon cloth mask for the poor, alinsunod po sa inyong kautusan, Mr. President. At ang pang-anim po ay ang paggamit ng RT-PCR bilang gold standard sa ating pong pag-detect o pagtukoy ng mga kaso ng COVID-19. At ang pinakahuli po ay inirekomenda po mariin ng inyo pong gabinete na manumbalik po tayo sa Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine or MECQ for 15 days mula po bukas, August 3 hanggang August 18. So ito po ang ating po mga rekomendasyon, Mr. President, for your consideration. At muli, nagpapasalamat po ako sa aking mga kasama sa kabinete at IATF sa pagbuo po ng mga rekomendasyon na ito na akin pong binasa.
Secretary Duque, I failed to grasp the last item that you have. We were talking about
MECQ, sir?
Escalate mo sa escalate mo ang yung lugar na we mentioned the other meeting. You are recommending MECQ.
MECQ po in NCR po and the provinces of Laguna and Bulacan. And Rizal, Region 4, Region 4A.
Okay.
Not all, but yeah, okay. Region 3, Bulacan. Okay. Okay. Yun lang po, sir. Ang ating pong recommendation for NECQ, Mr. President.
Thank
Salamat
you.
po, sir.
Salamat, sir. Uh, before we go further, I'd like to introduce to you the ex-fiscal of Nueva Ecija, Danny Yang. We come from the same school. Siya yung tawag mo, and I need men not only in the matter of the safeguarding and health of the people from COVID. There are so many, well, there's always a graft here, graft there. Talagang may corruption dito, corruption doon. And you will remember that when we were talking about the Bayanihan 1, when it was still pending, I said that the money is very tempting. Could be used as political purposes, patronage, to the exclusion of others, or worse, baka pabayarin nila yung mga tao. And I even mentioned the other time about the NPAs getting their shots free. Look, I do not propose that you respond. I'm talking to the NPAs, the Communist Party of the Philippines. I do not propose that you respond to my policy. Kami lang dito, we have a policy. Every time I open my mouth and state a declaration, it becomes automatically a policy. Na itong mga NPA, if they really want to get their shots free, they can always line up. And I will ask now the military and the police to be forgiving. Pag nakapila sila doon, wala namang armas, just to get the shots. Give it to them. Hindi na natin sila. But after that, if you go home, then we fight again. But on even grounds. I want you to stay healthy because my soldiers are very, very healthy. And they should be getting the first shots of the vaccine should we acquire them in due time. You know, ito namang si Fiscal Yang, I want well, not all, pero itong you just coordinate, Danny is the name, Secretary Anyo, about the corruption charges that we filed. I suggest that to save time, unless of course the Secretary in his discretion would rather hear them administratively. You know, you're a lawyer, and the fastest way to do it is actually administrative proceedings. Malayo masyado yung criminal. So there's so many facets of due process that would derail a proposed prosecution or a proposed how would you call it, or something that is also as a punishment. Pero I have requested officially kay Ombudsman Martires na I am not asking for the neck of the innocents. I just want the graft and corruption stop, and the parties involved in that corruption be prosecuted, be the mayor, the city council, or the barangay captain. And I cited to you the delay, the long and winding road. Huwag ninyo itong ikata, show it to lahat. This is very important. Because we have so much missteps. Pandol dito, pandol doon, because of corruption. And the last thing that I would want to hear is really itong ganito. Baka ipagbili, partisan, tao lang niya, yung kalaban niya, hindi, and all these things. That is why, if you follow the mindset of the officials vis-a-vis with the grafters, diretsuhin ko na sila ng prosecution. Well, administratively, yes, because that's the best way. But the city councils now who are delaying the passing of the ordinance, because 2 months, 2 years, if I'm telling Secretary Ann here, 2 years, the paper spending, it is graft and corruption. I'm telling you now, kayong mga municipal, city, or I do not know if the provincial board is included, pag hindi ninyo inalabas yan, beginning today, I'm going to give you exactly 3 days. Report to the DILG, city, provincial, ibigay mo doon, and for the DILG to inform Secretary Anyo, yung boss nila, na submitted na. So, the clock is ticking, except on the days you do not hold office. I'll count the 72 hours, weekdays. But for example, if it has been there on Monday, then 2 to 3 days should be on Thursday. If you fail to do that, I am directing Fiscal Yang to file the case immediately with the department o sa ano. Nandito nandiyan ang record nandiyan kay Fiscal. But you can always go to the office of General Anyo and take a look. Demanda mo natin kasi sabi ko, my God, 2 years na lang ako, magwawala ako. Gusto ko, hinto na ako sa gobyerno, sabay tayo. Talagang I'll see to it that you are effectively suspended, preventive, suspended as a form of a punishment. But I would prefer that you be dismissed immediately. And the courts for not to interfere. I am not without understanding the situation that governs the separation of powers, that I cannot also intrude into yours. But help me on this, as long as I am in the path of due process. Please do not interfere. Of how there might be an injunction on somewhere. This is not time for hearing cases. We will make the accounting of our behavior maybe after COVID. Kumentas ngayon, talagang I want barangay captains, the idiots and the low life in the lower echelons of government, they should know that at least. I may not be really the best, but I want to taste your agony, and I want to taste your humiliation while I am here, because you are a criminal. Pag nagkamali kayo dito, wala, pasensya. I will ask I will demand your resignation if it really calls for it. I will demand. Now, if we come to a 4, well, tignan natin who gets what. Ako, sabi ko, I am already dispensable. Pwede na akong effectively suspended rin. Okay ako. Tapos na ako. Kayong mga yawa, kayo talaga ang iritan ko. Para makatikim kayo ng ayaw ninyong huminto eh. So, mga barangay captain, stop acting like God in your barangays. You are just a human being. I'm sure that you know nothing or little at all about governance if you are there into corruption. Kaya kung wala kayong nalaman, talagang nagagalit na ako. Kaya wala akong respeto sa iyo. I have no compunction about sending you to jail or suspending you until the last day of 2 years from now. Para mawala kayo sa horizon. You are already removed from the political horizon. You do not deserve to stay in the government a minute longer. Now, I know that even earlier, the cry of the moment, which is really, I believe, well taken. And they are right. Itong government, not the government, but yung health workers who will be in the hospitals. Private. Am I correct? Okay. Alam ko ho, kayong adhere or no one is going to meet me tonight. Wala. So if they're listening now, ganito ang the following moves that government has decided. We agree that you are bone weary. Alam ko na talagang kumikit-kit na sa buto ninyo yung kirap ninyo. Both of the pressure, the stressful work, and also the uncertainty and the fear of getting COVID and not having anything in return. And that would also be wrong because yung tawag na unjust enrichment at the expense of others. Well, it is not really the real case on all fours. It applies that government cannot take advantage of the services of private persons or citizens and yet send them to the dragon pit. So we are ready to consider that itong, well, if you want to term it stipend or allowances or pay, give us time. We will make the report. Sana masali ito sa the second bayanihan. Baka masali ito. Kung masali ito, ibibigay ito sa inyo. Ora mismo. No delay from the treasury diretso na sa inyo. If you want it to be treasury warrant, fine. If you want to be in cash, fine. We will look for the right persons to distribute it. But the thing is, you can rest assured that there will be no corruption dito. Talagang uupakan ko kayo, mga putang ina. Talagang uupakan ko kayo. Yeah, the humiliation of being treated as one who has been ousted from service because of corruption. Para malaman ng mga anak ninyo na babuhay kayo sa putang inang kalukuhan. Regarding the benefits, we were also strongly recommend it to be included in the bayanihan to insurance, and free accommodation, free transportation, free and frequent testing. Magdasal lang tayo sa Diyos. There is enough to are scraping. Wala na tayo. Remember, Filipinos, na the time of giving the assistance or the stipend or your allowance is no longer there. We cannot give you that anymore. Tapos na yun. Kaya ito, sabi naman ng iba, paano ba itong gobyerno, hindi man nila masolve? Gamitin mo nga utak mo, putang ina. Kasimple. COVID is the enemy, not government. Government is trying to control. As a matter of government, put you in prison in your houses. Kaya anong nangyari? Maraming ayang din sumunod. Cebu is a standout. I saw it from the government surveillance TV. Then, nakita ko parang walang nangyari. Motor sila lahat. So I was complaining, I'm telling you, we were having a cabinet meeting several times, that itong Cebu, murag walay sakit nga galibot, that there is no germ, kagaw nga balibot. You are doing life nonchalant. Nagbaliwala lang. Sige, continue lang tapo. Mahaw, panood to, inom. Puta. Pagdating ng panahon, sabihin pa ninyo, we are having trouble here. The hospitals are nobody in this world was really prepared to deal with it. In only a matter of 48 hours upon advice, I already suspended the way of the usual life and tried to sequester you inside the quarantine of your homes. Wala nga anong sabihin. For example, Secretary Duque, they want their neck. Then I ask you, okay, you want me to fire Duque? Let me be satisfied. Anong kasalanan ng tao? He did not import COVID. He was there all the time, and an infection was overwhelming, not only for the Philippines. I do not want to compare it with any country, but it was a global thing. And ngayon, bakit tayo marami na? Well, sana makapanood kayo ng YouTube or YouTube. Makita mo ang spike ngayon, binalikan sila. And the scientists say that it will be, this COVID will be forever, for decades. So ang sinasabi ko sa the same. What I said earlier, in the early days of this pandemic thing, I said that, be careful because it is swallowing the rest of the world. And we will be no exception. Dito sa Cebu, makita mo naman sa Cebu pati Maynila, almost same behavior. May mga tao talagang nasa labas, and they can only be controlled kung sa mga barangay, kung saan kayo nakatira. But kung nakapuslit kayo, tapos magpasyal-pasyal, magnegosyo pa rin kayo, whatever, and without a mask at that, making it worse. Hindi ka numara, ngayon marami. Then you say that government, nobody, pandemic nga ito eh. The epidemic is bad enough. But the pandemic is that every country is now using its own resources. Hindi mo kabigayan. China of late might be delivering some help in terms of equipment. Pero hindi kasalanan. Now, if Secretary Duque misquoted or was not accurate sa kanyang figure, para sa akin, matulala ka sa figures because they come in incomplete and sometimes wrong, sometimes asymptomatic, sometimes nakauwi na. So I'd like to know, let me ask you a question, Secretary Duque, if you may please. Itong sa case summary natin, itong nakalabas, kasali pa dito sa no number of recoveries. Is this an original number or a changing number? Only those that are presently hit or affected.
This is a changing number, Mr. President, kasi yung pong meron pong IATF policy or resolution that the time-based reckoning of recoveries of the asymptomatic and milds after 14 days po that they were in quarantine from the onset of illness. Kasi yan po, usually 10 days nga lang po, sabi ng WHO, gagaling ka na po, basta mild po and asymptomatic. Kung natapos po ninyo yung 10 days na yon, nagdagdag pa po ang DOH with the approval of the IATF ng 4 days para 14 days. So after that, ibig sabihin po noon, magaling na kayo.
Yes. I'm asking about the figures. Does this include people who are already cured?
Yes, sir. The recovery, sir.
So this is a constant number.
Yes, sir. This number will continue to increase as more and more people recover.
Including the first computation.
Yes, sir. Kasama na po.
Itong 103.
Yes, sir. This is part of the 103,185. And of these, meron po tayong recoveries na 65,557. Ang ating pong active cases, which means these are still either in quarantine or in the hospitals or in the ICUs, isolation beds, depending on their clinical condition, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Opo.
I know, especially those. Now, look, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, si Fiscal Yang, I forgot to mention where he belongs. He is with the presidential anti-graft. Doon ka. Then I need another classmate of mine. Tinabahan ata ng COVID. What is really very, not sad, but almost an irritation that could put stress on anybody's mind. Itong mga kasama mo mga doktor, yung iba nag-private, yung iba na sa gobyerno. Yung sa gobyerno, I really appreciate your hard work. I said, I know that everybody is born weary. Talagang pagod na. Kaya ito sila, sinasabi mo ngayon, health workers, frontliners, lagay sa private hospitals. If they continue to expose themselves, at tinamaan sila, it is not fair for government just also to sit down. They must be included in the recovery period. Now, kung itong, mahirap nga bilangin eh. Kasi may mga tao na naging COVID cases, gumaling lang sa bahay. Karamihan sa bahay, walang punta ng ospital. Nung mga grabe. Ngayon, itong sabihin mo na 100 plus. Tingnan, gamutin natin. Meron naman tayong alternative alternative measures. Meron tayong nandoon sa Rizal Memorial. Nag-offer pa nga ang Iglesia ni Cristo. Salamat po sa inyo, Iglesia ni Cristo. And any others. The only thing, if they do not want to work, we cannot for them. Pero, for Diyos naman, tanungin ko kayo. Pati ikaw, Secretary Doge. Pati ikaw, si Dr. Vega. Kung mga ganito na sitwasyon, we are up against virus, germs, microbes, tapos nagkasakit. Who can we turn to? Kung gera lang sana ito, I can order general lang sana ito gawin mo. I am not satisfied with this because losing on that province. Mapasabihan ko ang police secretary nyo. Napakahina yung trabaho niya. Ngayon, dito sa iyo, I ask now every doctor and nurse. My wife has also volunteered to be a frontliner. May anak kami. Kaisa-isa. But since she is moved by a sense of... Kasi nasabi niya, nahihiya siya sa sarili niya. She's a nurse. And yet, ang trabaho, itong ganitong parang it's war against microbes. Who are our soldiers? The nurses and the doctor. If you cannot go for the extra mile, well, I can understand. I'm very sorry. I can understand you. Pero wala kaming matawagan ng iba eh. So ito ngayon sa bakuna pagdating it will be headed by the medical corps para sila ang may tabulation. Walang magkamali. Patient. Lahat ng ahensya na may mga nurses, mga police, there are already thousands of police. Maraming nagpulis kasi ang sweldo ng nurse 8,000. Ang sweldo mo pagka pumasok sa akin, entry fee mo 30,000. Ginawa kong 30, kaya lahat ng mga nurses, babae at lalaki pumasok dyan. No, I leave the problem to General Anyo. With the uniformed nurses sa police and for General Lunzana, they should be assembled and help. Yung sinabi ko sa police station, punta ka lang doon. So, maraming nurses i-distribute natin. We can finish, if we have the vaccines, and if it is delivered expeditiously, I think that in about 1 week's time, tapos na. That, if we get the vaccine. Pero, as it goes now, wala pa namang sinabi lang na kumpleto na. And China is leading. That's what I told you. I believe in China because they're very conscientious. And hindi reklamador. May isang bayan na mayaman, pagka-reklamador no, binigay na ng anong Panginoon Diyos yung biyaya niya. Tapos sige pa reklamo. Ngayon nag-spike kasi sige sila protesta. Kaya ako dito, kasi mga left, sige, sabi ko, yung mga left, if you want to protest, go ahead. I myself will sign the permit. Pag manghingi ka ng 3 araw, magagalit ako. Gawain mo 10 araw po. Diyan, magbabad kayo. protest to the high heavens. You know. But for as long as you are not a part of government and you do not know better, worse is you pretend to be an advisor, tapos sabihin mo mag-tweet ka, God help this country. Huwag na natin distribuhan ng Diyos. Mas mabuti kung you are not a part of it. I can see an ambition in a man's face. Kaya tapos magsali, bakit hindi mo kami in-advisean? So what can you advise about COVID? Tell me if you're a doctor, anong ma-advise mo? What's the best solution? Best solution is you go into your house, stay there, do not crowd in other places, mingle. Walang, at least mahina. But yung gamot, sinasabi mo, what are we doing? Oh, what are we doing? What can we do? Magbigay ng pera? Wala na tayong pera. Mayroon pa dyan yung mga bright na Neanderthal instinct. Bright nga. Modern, pero Neanderthal thinking. Na sige, sabihin ng gobyerno, sige banat sa gobyerno. Butang ina, ganito yan eh. Kayo mga animal kayo, kung bright talaga kayo sana, kayo na nakaupo dito at nagawa na ninyo ang gusto ko. But for as long as you're not part in government, you can criticize. But do not be a double standard idiot. Pretending to advise, then you criticize. You tell us, because karamihan dito, General Galvez, General Anyo, General Lorenzana, Bongo. Hindi naman tayo, isang doktor ka lang eh. So we would need also the input of other doctors who might have had trainings outside regarding this matter. Tropical diseases, infectious diseases. Nakatulong sana. Ngayon kung wala kayong maibigay, and it's not our fault if we are lagging behind. Una-una, wala tayong we do not have the equipment, we do not have anything. The Philippines is still a new country until now. Would you believe it? Kakaanak lang nitong Pilipinas. Kaya minsan ang lumalabas yung mga bright kuno, pero nakabobo naman. Akala ng mga gago-gaga, mas marunong sila kaysa atin. Oh well, run for president. I will help you. You identify yourself. Or I will keep track of your... Tapos sabihin ko sa inyo kung anong ginagawa ninyo. Puro kayo daldal. Tapos sabihin ng gobyerno, keep on harping on Secretary Doge. What will I do with him? There's lack of hospital beds. Talagang nagkulang. Nobody anticipated this. This is a pandemic. It's bigla. Medicines, ganon din. Naghintay tayo ng matagal. Yung mga ventilators, ganon rin. Nobody expected that thousands will get sick on a single day. That is, as a matter of fact, almost a preparation for a war. Kung talagang gusto mong preparado tayo. Baski magtayo ako ng 10 hospitals bukas, kunin ko yung mga hotel, expropriate ko. 100,000 kung totoo talaga sakit. But I will do that. Pag wala, there's no time for to set up buildings. Pag wala na, I will expropriate hotels. para kung wala na talagang space. Now, the doctors, well, you can work with us, work with the people, your people, or you can just, pero if you are not also working, tapos, katatapos mo lang mong magdaldal ka na ako. Nagpabilib ka na. Huwag ninyo kaming pabilibin. General Galvez was there in Marawi. Secretary Anyo was the Chief of Staff. Delphine Lorenzana has been with us. He's been working, he's resident ka ng Amerika din, no? No, kasi kilala ko sa military, pinatawag ko. Ngayon, itong bakuna, ibigay ko sa police pati military. Hoy, kayo mga police, pakinigay sa akin, ha? Linisan ninyo yung presinto ninyo and make it ready for in the day I pray that it would come. Yun na lang ang police station mas malapit. Saka marami. Basta doon, only requirement is Pilipino ka, wala na. Kung gusto nilang pa-injection ng 5, magpaikot, hayaan mo. Sige. If you want to have an overdose of the vaccine, go ahead. If there's one thing that we cannot help, there is no cure for it, is stupidity. And mind you, all those people talking and criticizing, hindi naman alam. Kung ilagay mo dito, yan naman, makandara pa yan. Kung ilagay mo dito, yan, so, sige, kayo dito. Oh, they will hang you. There's the bin, they will hang you. We're doing our very best. And yung localized lockdown. Sorry, Manila. Ngayon, magsabi kayo, i-lockdown mo na ang Manila. Ang ibang lugar, entire Philippines, para talagang wala nang mahawa. Wala ka nang mahawaan, wala ka nang mahawa. Problem is, wala na tayong pera. I cannot give food anymore and money to people. So, I have to said it's modified for the, lalo na for the critical industries. Food, number 1. Medicine. So, binitawan ko yan sila kasi unang-una wala nang makain. Ilan lang ang tao talaga na may savings good for a rainy savings for a rainy day. Well, our savings is just good for a drizzle. Ano bang drizzle sa Tagalog? Ambon lang. Yung ibang preparation for a typhoon. Hindi tayo mayaman. Do not compare us because our money is equivalent to about 48 ngayon exchange. 49. For today, it's 49. Ang ating 49 pesos, $1 lang yan. Ang bilihan sa labas, ang ginagamit, $1. I do not know what is taking China to implement or putting it in reality, in practice, na ang gagamitin ng sa exchange sa international would be the ano tawag na?
Yuan or renminbi, Mr. President?
Duman. Wala tayo. At least sa China, hindi magbinta-kwinta kung ilan ang pera mo. And I'm assured that we would be prioritized in it. Now also, mga barangay captains, it's time that you really work. Isauli mo sa tao yung honor na binibigay nila sa inyo. Binigay ninyo. Ay binigay sa inyo ng tao. You work. Strictly enforce ang quarantine, lalo na yung lockdown. Kasi ang Maynila, dahil ang mga tao, maraming tao na lumalabas. Jadi maraming mahawa. So sabi mo, what is Duterte doing about, the government doing about? Hoy, Mario Josep, magbili ka dyan ng vaccine. O akong bibili sa'yo, turo mo lang kung saan. Well, it's vaccine. Baski saan ka, it's vaccine. Now, yung contact talaga. That is why para hindi naman kahawa, o mahawa man sa bahay ka na lang, it behoves upon the barangay captain, municipal mayor, to see to it that kung maaari lang, kung posible lang, that your barangay or municipio, city is co-free. Well, some mayors are overly strict. Wala na tayong magawa doon kasi under the local government code, they authorize also to move. Well, we are appealing to Congress to isalin lang sana itong yung sa mga health workers, isali sa bayanihan to isalin lang ang free accommodation, free transportation, and free and frequent testing.
Mr. President,
Yes.
may I respectfully reiterate my very strong recommendation with the support of the Cabinet for NCR, Laguna, Rizal, Cavite, and Bulacan to be put under the MECQ or Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine, Mr. President, just for 15 days, Mr. President. Modified Enhanced Community Quarantine, Mr. President. Yes, sir, with your approval, Mr. President. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Anyone who would want his piece?
Sir, Mr. President.
John Galvez then.
Sir, Yusek Vega and I are going around also with Secretary Duque with the hospital, sir. And we found out that those who are affected by COVID, there is some sort of psychological impact on our health workers. The Bayanihan one has given 1 million for those who died and also 100,000 for those severe and critical patients. But those who are mild, who are also hospitalized and also having the anguish of being infected, sir, we recommend, sir, na mabigyan, sir, natin at kahit na 10,000, sir, yun, sir, yung mga almost 5,000 po, sir, yung naging positive, sir, natin. Kasi yung fear, sir, fear ng mga, sir, natin, ng mga health workers to be afflicted by, sir, parang nakakaroon, sir, ng discrimination. Na they will be, sir, kasi ako meron din akong pong staff na heya ko, sir. He cried out loud na parang may emotional breakdown ang isang, especially yung health worker, na he is even expose herself or himself to the danger, and then later on parang he will feel discriminated. That anguish, parang sir, parang hindi natin man, sir. Then they spend also money for their own medicine, for her own medicine. It is proper lang, sir, na mabigyan natin kahit konti, sir, na kahit na 10,000, sir, each.
I agree with you. Even 15. So ikaw pala ko. Sorry.
Mr. President, you ordered us a while ago to assemble those nurses who enlisted in the armed forces, pati dun sa PNP.
Yes.
We will do that, Mr. President, but there might not be enough of them kasi baka konti lang ito. Now, we propose something like calling to active duty those reservists, medical reservists. We'll call to active duty these people for a period of 2 years to serve with the AFP. And then we propose also that to beef up our health services command to be able to allow us to be allowed to enlist at least 10,000 people composed of doctors, nurses, medical technologists, medical aid men. And this will become our reserve for any eventuality. Mabuti ito, Mr. President, na kasi itong mga taong tumautosan natin, pwede sila mag-overtime, and they will be under the military control. So, mas madaling utosan, Mr. President. So, we are going to prepare the organization and the budget, and we will show it to you, Mr. President, for approval.
I have heard the call of different groups from the medical community for a 2-week enhanced community quarantine, ACQ, in Mega Manila. I fully understand why your health workers would like to ask for such a timeout period. They have been in the front lines for months and are exhausted. To our health workers, this is a war that you have been trained to fight. This is a profession that you, all of you, and who are educated and trained to face such challenges, you're frontliners in the battle because you are learned in this field. Kung bayaan natin tutulungan, kung walang tutulong rather, sa bansa at ang mga kababayan natin, sino ang maasahan ko? Sino ang maasahan natin na gumawa ng trabahong ito? Huwag kayong mawalaan ng pag-asa. Nakikita at kausap ko ang iba sa inyo. Habaan ninyo lang. You stretch your patience and your not endurance, because you can only also take so much. Your fervor. Haan na lang ninyo yung pasensya ninyo and your fervor na ikaw isang medical tao. At tiwala kami sa inyong kakayahan. We are aware that you are tired, that you have worked almost even beyond 24 hours a day. So ito kasi yung, wala kami matakbuhan. Kayo yung nag-aral. Kayo yung may alam. Na ngayon, kung sabihin ninyo na anong mabuti, and you raise the spectacle of yung ang agony ninyo, you treat it as if you're about ready to stop to work. Huwag naman ganun kasi kawawa ang mga kababayan. Sino man asahan namin? I don't know, I'm sure that that's not in your heart. But from your maybe despair, I would like to tell you that ang ating gobyerno ay hindi mag-iwan ng mga trabahante niya. So to my fellow countrymen, we are doing everything possible to alleviate the situation, to assist our healthcare workers and enhance and upgrade our healthcare system. Alam mo kasi, you know, first time nangyari ito eh. And this is not just something like a call to action for a few sick persons, maybe because of the distance or maybe because of the, ito lahat eh. Wala namang may gusto. Kaya nga si Secretary Duque, gusto nila putulin yung ulo. Ano mang kasalanan niya? Na yung medisina nandyan, buhol-buhol ang trabaho because this is the first time. And hindi ko kinukumpara. You read or you listen to BBC and CNN. Nakita ninyo, America and the rest are far more worse than us. Yan ang problema. But they have the machines, they have the equipment. And yet they are suffering terribly. Almost hindi ka makapaniwala. So kami dito, hindi namin kayo kinakalimutan. There would not have been no need for you to go into itong ganito and raising your hands as if sabihin ninyo revolution. Now, if you think that this can be solved by revolution, then by all means we start it. Mas gusto ko. Kung magsabi kayo, nagtaas na kayo, revolution, go ahead. Because I would be calling all people who love their country to come forward and work with the people. Yung mga health workers na hindi connected sa gobyerno, we will try to help. But that there is no need for you and for the guys, ng 1,000 of you, telling us what to do publicly. You could have just wrote us a letter. Lahat naman ng sinasabi ninyo, sinusunod namin. You know, it's the resources. Ang pera, may gusto kayong bilhin ko. Ang problema, ang bulsa ko, butas na yung isa. Dahil we have suffered economically, pati individually, yung income ninyo, wala na. Hindi lang man kayo. But to go almost on a, not really a rampage, but an outrage, parang galit at mag-revolution. So huwag naman ganun kasi alam ninyo nagtatrabaho kaming lahat. Kung yan lang ang makaya ng pera natin, hindi hanggang dyan lang tayo. Hindi naman kami nabuti nakaupo lang dyan, nandyan yung pera, hindi naman pinapagalaw. Everybody is trying. Kaya nga, yung mga ibang modalities na lang how the vaccine, if ever mabigay, mag-abot sa atin. Next time, you can just ask for an audience. Pero huwag ho kayong magsigaw-sigaw, revolution. Alam mo, sa totoo ko, alam niyo hindi ako kilala talaga. Magsabi kayo revolution, then, ngayon na. Go ahead. Try it. Sirain natin itong patayin natin lahat ng COVID. Is that what you want? We can always end our existence in this manner. Hindi naman kayo na natatakot siguro. Alam namin yun na hindi kami matakot. Siguro. But to send a message na without giving government a chance. Ngayon, anong gusto ninyo? I will implement other things in this government without informing you. Would you be happy with that? Or if you are really on a rampage, you want a revolution, fine, let's start it. Go ahead. Go ahead in the streets and the store. Makita natin. Then we will need almost all building, all hospitals there. Hindi lang COVID. Hindi ko, I'm not threatening. Pero gusto ko lang subukan ninyo. I dare you, do it. At makita tayo kung ano. Those who want to work with government, lahat ng mga nurses na pulis, pumasok kayo sa pulis kasi malaki ang sweldo. If you remain in nurse outside, you only get about 8, 9, 10. So, it's time to give more to the people. All nurses sa uniform sector will have to work. And we can always ask for volunteers. Then I am asking Secretary Lorenzana to mobilize, call a mobilization of doctors and nurses and those who can help. Kung yan na lang ang maasahan namin, or I might outrightly call for all reservists to work. Yan na lang. Ang COVID nandyan, wala namang kasalanan. Ni ikaw, wala kang solusyon eh. What are you babbling about? What's the solution? Except COVID. We've been frank before with you. Still frank until now. And that is also the answer of all leaders of government. Anak ka ng, do not so as to be heard. I don't give if you gather 1,000, 2,000. But bear in mind na kayo mismo, kung ipa-take over ko kayo lahat. Ako ang magbayad sa inyo. Take over ninyo. Tignan ko kung ano ang lagay ninyo. We are not incompetent here because we are not doctors. Kayo ang dapat ang you should do this soul searching, not us. Kami kayong makatulong sana, ito lang kayong ginagawa, kung magreklamo, ikaw naman, what can I do? I've always been praying to God for the vaccine. Alam niyo, doktor kayo eh. Huwag na natin dramahin ito ng mga sulat-sulat. At saka itong mga health workers that I said you are bone weary. Bone weary is an idiom. It's just simply that you are too tired to move. You are beat. Ika nga. Bakit kayo hindi pumunta dito na pera? Hanap tayo ng pera. Secretary Dominguez, mabutit na lang, sabi ko, ang vaccine dumating. Kaya yung prediction, my dire predictions is that it would usually take, tanungin niyo kayong mga doktor, 5 years to perfect a vaccine. From the alam ninyo yan. So, do not try to demean government. You are not actually criticizing. You demean by government, your own government, by just going ahead. At saka takutin ng revolusyon. Bayan man natin ito. Gusto ninyo, sirain natin. Start it now. Nari a moment to waste. Ako kung anong klase ibigay ng tatrabaho ako, kung anong ang nasa harap ko, I will react appropriately. Kayong mga nurses, ulitin ko, outside, o aid workers, maghanap ako ng pera sa Congress. Again, to the health workers, doctors, nurses, not connected with government, we will try to look out for a way. Marami kaming gustong ibigay sa inyo. Insurance, then return 10,000 risk. Tabala, across the board yan. Tapos, free accommodation, free transportation, free testing. Siyempre, dapat kayo every 2 days, masakit lang sa, wala bang pantusok na putang ina na hindi. Okay lang yan sa tilaok. Kinakain ko minsan buto yan, tendon ng baka. Pero putang, okay lang po yung sa ilong na ko, Diyos ko. Kulkugin mo ang putang. Tapos, yung nasa gobyerno, reservists, we might call for a mobilization. Lahat, you know, my daughter, Inday Sara, pag ako nag-mobilize, mauna yan. I will specifically point out to her as one of those who will answer the, you cannot even, you have no, you have not that luxury of accepting or not accepting. You remember that you are a reservist, you are subject to martial law. Martial law ka to. Hindi martial law ng gobyerno, martial law ng disiplina. Saka yung mga police, mga nurses, be ready to be deployed. Mga police, advise your workers na yung mga police mo na babae, ibaba ninyo lahat. We will train them for about just 1 or 2 days. We will select a big auditorium, yung PICC. You come here in the morning, free merienda, masarap na pansit, pati tapos merienda, mag-uwi kayo. And we will tell you what to do. Ganon lang yan. Kung mag-resack yung mga magtawad-tawad, then we will tell we will help you with government personnel. And they will work how many hours a day has? 24? Oh, I can ask my soldiers to work 28 hours a day. Yung mga sundalo, yung mga pulis. So, we are not actually inutil. Tsaka, next time, as a matter of courtesy, not to me, I don't need it, but to the government, kasi gagastusin natin yung pera ng tao. The next time, huwag ninyo akong parigin-rigin ng revolution. Naku, Diyos ko. Yan ang mas delikado sa COVID. Kaya kung magrevolusyon kayo, you will give me the free ticket to stage a counter-revolution. How I wish you would do it. Mga kababayan ko, tiis na ng kunti. By December nandyan na. Doon na. Kaya matatagalan tayo. Yung nahawakan mo, hawakan niya. Yung rails. Yung sa escalator, pupunta-punta, hawak ninyo. Tapos hinawakan na, kung maggano ng kamayan sa mga sipon, tapos balik. Tapos ikaw yung susunod. If you go at you tend to exactly do what I just told you. Sa jeep, taxi, yung inupuan, magpahid sa ilong yan kung may sipon, na tapos hawak ng, wala nang katapusan. So, kindly stay home kung hindi naman talaga importante. And for those who really are working in the government critical public work, you have to go. You have to work. Mayroon na tayong medisina. May medisina tayo. Meron na, di ba, we ask Rizal Coliseum, saka itong Iglesia ni Cristo, pumayag. Salamat po sa inyo.